Chapter 2. Why silence feels uncomfortable. Why does silence feel uncomfortable? Many of us struggle with stillness. We set aside time for God, but when everything goes quiet, we feel uneasy. Our minds race. We reach for distractions. We feel the urge to fill the silence with words, thoughts, or noise. But why? Is it because we are afraid of what we might hear in the silence? Or is it because we have conditioned ourselves to believe that being still means being unproductive? God calls us to stillness, but for many, silence, it's unsettling. It exposes the noise we've been avoiding. It forces us to confront our thoughts, our emotions, and sometimes the things we don't want to face. In Psalm 62, verse 1, David says, "Truly my soul finds rest in God. My salvation comes from Him." Rest, stillness, a quiet soul before God. Yet, in a world filled with constant motion, we resist the very thing that brings us closer to Him. Why we avoid silence. There are three key reasons why silence feels uncomfortable. First, we are addicted to noise. From the moment we wake up, we are surrounded by sound, notifications, conversations, media, endless thoughts. Silence feels unnatural because we have trained ourselves to always be engaged, always be stimulated. But God speaks in the quiet. In 1 Kings 19, Elijah was waiting for God to speak. A powerful wind came, but God was not in the wind. An earthquake followed, but God was not in the earthquake. A fire appeared, but God was not in the fire. Then came a gentle whisper, and there, in the stillness, Elijah heard God. Second, silence forces us to face ourselves. When everything is quiet, the thoughts we have buried start to rise, the worries, the doubts, the insecurities. The silence brings them to the surface. But silence is not something to fear. It is an invitation to bring our burdens before God, to let Him speak into our hearts, to allow Him to replace our anxiety with His peace. Third, we don't always expect God to respond. Sometimes we rush through our quiet time because deep down we don't believe we will hear anything. We pray, but do we pause long enough to listen? Silence is not empty, it is full of God's presence. Embracing the gift of silence. If silence makes you uncomfortable, ask yourself this: is my discomfort a sign that I need to slow down? Is God inviting me to listen? In Isaiah 30, verse 15, it says, "In quietness and trust is your strength." Strength is found in quietness. Peace is found in stillness. God is not in the chaos. He is in the calm. He is not in the rush. He is in the rest. When we embrace silence, we embrace Him. Reflection and personal challenge. Take a moment to reflect. When was the last time you sat in complete silence before God? Not speaking, not thinking about what to pray next, just sitting, just listening. This week, I challenge you. Set aside 5 minutes of complete silence before God. No words, no background noise, no distractions, just stillness. Let God fill the silence.